everybody and welcome back. Welcome back once again to Let's Play 80 Days. This could be the last session. See how it goes. We're very close to 80 days, yet we're nowhere near returning home to London, I don't think. But you never know, we could be pleasantly surprised. We will go with the flow and see where it takes us. At the moment it's taking us across the Caribbean towards America. The opposite way to where we're supposed to be going. But hey-ho, we have lots of clothing, we have a deck of cards, we have some coin, and as long as there's a lady or two and a glass of wine at hand, I'm sure Passport 2 will cope with failure. Right, onwards. No time to waste. Port-au-Prince plan. Where do we go from here? Port Royal is in Jamaica. I wanted to go to Jamaica from the very start, and so do you know what? We're gonna go to Jamaica. My father's homeland. We're gonna do it. Arrives tomorrow. If we get the Hispaniola tomorrow before 12 noon, we can take 4 cases, costs us 12 health, and we sail to Jamaica. That'll do for me. So here we are in Haiti, Port-au-Prince, and there is a market here. So a set of false teeth, valuable in Port Royal in Jamaica. Who would have thought? A pair of false teeth. Railway whistle, sugar cane, a diamond chronometer. Where's Freetown? That was in Africa, wasn't it? I thought it was in Africa. An Atlantic timetable. Oh! That might be able to get us home. An Atlantic crossing somehow, somewhere, some way. Perhaps. Right, another case, please. How do I buy another case? I need another case. Get me another. I need. No, the market's closed. What have I done? Oh. Right, we'll sleep. We'll pass the night here. It's fine. No need to panic. Haiti had the distinction of being the only nation in the world established as a result of a successful slave rebellion. From that small start, the nation had progressed beyond anyone's wildest imaginings in the last 10 years, spreading its influence across South America and the Caribbean. The source of Haiti's newfound wealth was evident on the streets of Port-au-Prince, living animal automatons, the Zanimoto. I looked up at the giant birds, which carried up to 4 passengers thanks to the bone and wood extensions grafted onto their wings. Instead of copper and iron, Haitian automata were made from organic materials, bone, bright coral, pale wood. I had never seen such creations before. It reminded me a little of the glass and metal grafts upon the soldiers in Rome, though the Haitians limited their augmentations to animals. Well, we do have a little bit of an interest in the old Artificers Guild, so we went searching for one, but found no evidence of an outpost. Surely the guild knew that Haiti was flouting its law. But why not take ourselves a little keepsake? I would not leave Haiti without Zanimoto. I wanted to know how they worked. Surely these rumours of Vordoon and blood drinking were mere fantasy. I found a local shopkeeper, but he shook his head. I cannot sell my creatures to foreigners, he said curtly, but we do sell automoto, which have no living parts, if you want. So rebuffed. I bought an automoto instead. In the form of a palm chat bird, bones and feathers that squirmed and wriggled in my hands. It was day 76. We had barely 100 hours remaining to return home, and here I am buying keepsakes. I mean, we should be focusing, planning, trying our best to find a way back to London from the Caribbean. But no, we're buying model birds. Good old explore. We have Did we sleep? We don't have long. Port-au-Prince! We have a route! Right there! To Ponta Delgada! This is a minor miracle! I took a few hours to explore, discovering the ways in which we might continue. But I do want to go to the market very quickly. We've got until 12 o'clock. We've got to run. We've got to run. Automata, Atlantic timetable. Go, go, go. Exit the market. 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 Go. No, no, no. Time pausing. Time is pausing. Just calm. We've got until 12. Right. Ponta... No, no, no. This has got to work. We cannot miss this crossing. We miss this, and we are screwed. There's a route to London from New York. Wait, wait. Why am I panicking? It's day 76. There's routes back to London from New York. We've got to get to New York. Port-au-Prince to Washington? No. Oh, do we go here? 7,200. That's too expensive. This is quick. Quick. No. Yes. Go. Go. Oh no. 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 Damn you, suitcases. Arrives Tuesday. What? No, no. It's fine. There's no rush here. Arrives Tuesday. It's Sunday. 2 days. Ponta Delgada. There must be a way from there to London. There's got to be, hasn't there? Right, we're going to go. 3 cases. Right, we've got 4 cases. We don't need a Caribbean. We don't need. Can we not pay? Can we not pay? Oh, we better hurry up. This is not going to happen, is it? This is not going to happen. Southwesters. No, don't need that. Tots of rum. No. No. Southern Hemisphere. No. Bring that over. Let's go. Go, 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 go. Shut the cases. Go! Physically demanding? Who cares? We're on a Zanimoto, and we're going at the speed of light. Not quite light. Mild breeze. Our conveyance was a bird, Zanimoto, with an enormous carapace of treated wood and living coral. I introduced myself to it before mounting, doing my best to pretend it was a horse rather than a hybrid living automaton with glowing red eyes. Okay. I think this is the quickest way. If we can get from that little island that we're visiting just now to London, we're done. But ultimately, we've only got £2,000 left. We could have gone to New York or Washington and then to New York and then New York to London, potentially. Well, we've made our bed. This has got to be a quick way. Flying. Converse. Yes, converse. There's got to be a way to get from Ponta Delgada to London. Tell me. Tell me. Aboard the 6 of 1, but the fare is over £7,000. No! I'm a dog man. They are too obedient. I prefer my animals with personality. London, I don't care where we go from London. London is the final destination. Snowdon, yeah, we'll go to Wales. We'll go to Wales. We'll go for a bit of sightseeing. We get up to London, we congratulate ourselves on the victory, and then we go to Wales. If we can't do this because we're out of money, it's going to be devastating. We don't have £7,000 worth of stuff in our case. Oh no, we can't fail on the money count. We can't fail on the money count. The creature took us high into the air. We had flown before, of course, but never I had been so aware of the height. And it was more exciting than an airship. To be borne up into the sky by a creature which beat its wings and shrieked with the pleasure of the hunt. And I had no real complaints until the Zanimoto abruptly stilled and plummeted towards the water as if chasing down the last slivers of fading sun reflected in the ocean. Here we go again! What the hell was wrong with it? I demanded in shrill alarm, though no one answered. A moment later, the creature tucked its legs and landed on the surface of the water gracefully. Zoot-a-law! We were floating! He is a living bird still, Monsieur Dirac, our navigator, told me in lecturing tones. He has carried us far today, and like all God's creatures, he has earned his rest. This creature is of man, not God. You think so? He asked with a wry tilt to his lips. Nevertheless, he requires sleep like the rest. We haven't got time to sleep! Good grief. My friends, I do not know if birds snore, but let me assure you that the bird Zanimotos certainly do. Great rattling, whistling snores that reverberate off a still ocean like a bellows. But rather strangely, I found it curiously soothing, and slept soundly all night. Right, wake up, fly, go, go, put the foot down. 2 Europeans seen stealing steam shovel in Panama. Whatever do they mean? We were never in Panama. I don't know what you're talking about. Have you got CCTV? The Zanimoto launched at dawn in a flurry of wood and coral wings, spraying us all generously with seawater. Wake up! Wake up! It's a beautiful morning, called Monsieur Dirac, grinning like a fool. Why are you Monsieur, not Captain? I replied, entirely out of sorts at having been so rudely awakened. A Zanimoto is not a heartless, mindless airship to require a captain. Monsieur Dirac looked scandalized at the very notion. It would be presumptuous. Horses have riders? Yes, he agreed, growing enthusiastic. And any good equestrian will tell you that his skill is a partnership between rider and mount. Very good. Just get us in one piece, mate. You know, 78, day 78. We're not going to do it, but we've given it a good go. I mean, oh God, I would rather have failed miserably. I would rather be stuck in South America on day 80 than be 1 trip away from London. That is just scandalous. Scandalous. It began to storm halfway through the night, and the Zanimoto took it into his head to take off into the rain-soaked gale rather than Joe being tossed about on the ocean swells. I held on for dear life, feeling the coral of the Zanimoto's carapace cut into my palms. It was warm to the touch, like living flesh, and I could feel the creature shudder every time the sky flashed with lightning. I have never been more grateful to see a patch of trees and dirt jutting up from the ocean. We made a clattering mess of a landing. But I leapt upon the solid ground and kissed the sweet earth, feeling like Noah after the great flood if his ark had been a terrified beast rather than a sensible vessel of comfortingly dead wood. We had only just managed to make it to Ponta Delgada. And from here... Right. Market. Sell. Sell everything. Sell your teeth. Sell your sketch of fog. It's not gonna... Onimoto? 65. Right, we're gonna sell it all. What else can we sell? First of all, we're gonna explore. We've got time to waste. In fact, first of all, we're gonna plan. London. Arrive Saturday. That is definitely not within 80 days. And it's in red, because we can't afford it. 7,300 smackaroonies, and we are stuck here in Ponta Delgada. Monsieur Fogg looks steadfast. My funds at home are not unlimited. I would prefer not to draw on them, but... And with that complaint issued, he snapped shut his ledger. I regarded the manager of the local financial institution, a stocky man who meddles with greedy interest. I need a lot of money, but I can't wait a week. I need 5 grand tomorrow. It's just not gonna happen, is it? I need a time turner. I need a time machine, is what I need. £1,000 by tomorrow. It's better than nothing. Okay. The London branch will give us £1,000. Maybe if we can raise another 4 somehow. Explore. The market will be shut now. New routes. Ponta Delgada to Lisbon. We can afford that. It's cheap, is it? Ponta Delgada was the largest settlement on the volcanic island of São Miguel in the Azores. Delicate pewter automata harvested fruit from the abundant orangeries, watched over by Portuguese gentlemen farmers in pristine white villas. Monsieur Fogg, of course, took in the pleasant environs with one cursory glance and bent his head to his almanac. "We have come so far," I marvelled. "I can scarcely believe it." Trying to maybe... My master looked up from his note-taking briefly. "We are not in London yet," he said primly. "Find out when the next airship to Lisbon departs." "As you say, monsieur." My master focused once more upon his almanac. I paused to breathe in the scent of citrus on the way to the harbour. It lingered in my nostrils for days, long after we had departed the Azores. Right. Plan again. No, we can't afford this. We can afford this. We can. It's only 100 quid. It arrives tomorrow. The gyrocopter. Tomorrow before 4. Well, we're making progress. Hotel. Sleep. A restless sleep. As day 79 dawns, we're nowhere near. The last few hours of the evening, I attended to Monsieur Fogg. Tried to smooth things over, knowing we were going to lose the wager. Clip his moustache. Hope he will have a comfortable night. Drown the sorrows. We're not going to do it. Depart, and gyrocopter arrives today. Go forth. Quickly. 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 We were given a gyrocopter ride to Lisbon by one of the local gentlemen farmers. So kind. Monsieur Coutinho. Grew oranges and corn, but my real passion, senors, is poetry. I couldn't care less about your poetry. We have routes to London from Lisbon. We don't need to chit-chat. We shall just prim and proper, Mr. Fogg. We shall just get to Lisbon. There's still chance. If we can get from Lisbon to London in less than a day, this could be a minor miracle. Did you know, remarked Monsieur Le Pilot, that Antero de Quintal was born in Ponta Delgada, only 2 streets from my own... I couldn't care less, mate. I couldn't care less. Just flipping fly as quickly as you can. I don't like poetry, I said. Just dismiss him. I don't want to talk. I want to plough on. To discourage any further conversation. One has to be firm with poets, my friends. Even those who write short poems tend to declaim at length in conversation, and whilst one is talking, one is not concentrating on flying as quickly as one can go. The gyrocopter began to bank. I saw the coastline on the horizon. There's still an outside chance, I thought. Lisbon rose upon a gentle hill, a city of gaslit, whitewashed buildings, church spires, and snaking tramways set on the Iberian Peninsula. We're here. We're here. Quick! Quick! No, I can't move! I can't move! No! No! Tomorrow at 12 noon! Do we have to get there before 80 days, or do we have to get there, like, on the 80th day? I think we might be alright. I think we might be alright. We'll explore, because we're here now. Maybe we'll find a faster route somehow. Oh, I don't know. In Lisbon, we sat down to lunch at a charming little restaurant with views across the Iberian coastline. I mean, the way Passepartout is putting this across, he's not concerned. Maybe he thinks we can get to London from Lisbon in a day. I mean, the maitre d' came over to our table as the waiter brought our aperitifs. "Senors," he cried, wringing his hands, "I have a great favour to ask." As long as it doesn't take too long, I'm sure we can accommodate you, I replied placatingly, for the man was clearly at his wit's end. My foolish brother, what a trial he is to our dear mother, has made a grave error, and we have 2 guests without a table. The maitre d' looked anguished. Could we possibly impose upon you, senors, and add 2 to your number? I regarded Monsieur Fogg for his opinion. And he cleared his throat. "Well, then, we shall be glad to oblige," he said. The maitre d' ushered a top-hatted English gentleman and his dapper Prussian valet to our table. We were strange mirrors of each other, though Monsieur Fogg and I clearly comprised a superior, more handsome image. Our masters greeted each other and made the particular sort of upper-class small talk which forms a gentle background murmur to a servant's ears. Meanwhile, the Prussian valet introduced himself as Diedrich, and gave a hearty sniff as our appetizers were served. "I hope the food is up to Herr Montgomery's standards," he remarked. "Herr Montgomery is very particular." "So is Monsieur Fogg," I insisted. "He is a most exacting master." "Oh, he cannot be as exacting and precise as my own master," Diedrich insisted with a horrible glee. "Why, is he a fiend for detail?" We gave each other a look, the sort of look two generals might exchange across a corpse-strewn battlefield. I decided to make an innocuous inquiry and asked what the messieurs were doing in Lisbon. Well, the thing is, my master and I—" Diedrich paused to chuckle to himself. "We are travelling around the world." "Around the world?" I repeated, aghast. "You mean to say you are—" "Yes," Diedrich nodded with satisfaction and leaned closer. "For a wager." I stared at him in silent shock. "Indeed," Diedrich continued implacably. "We are heading to Tangier tomorrow, and from there to South America and across the Pacific." "West instead of east?" I mumbled as though in a dream. Diedrich ignored me loftily. "And what," he asked with awful courtesy, "are you and your master doing in Lisbon?" "We are also travelling around the world," I told him churlishly, and could not resist adding, "My master and I went the sensible way, and are nearly back to London." Monsieur Montgomery looked up from his plate, his eyes cool and remote. "What a remarkable coincidence," he remarked without expression. "Quite," my master responded. "Let us give you some advice," I added, "since we have just come that way." Diedrich raised one overly sharp eyebrow, but did not decline my offer. "Yes?" Now, we have no reason to send them astray, do we? But if we're going to fail, then perhaps we should have them fail too. Don't buy too much expecting to sell elsewhere. Markets abroad never pay well. Diedrich smiled thinly. This very meal is being paid for by the sale of a single monocle. One simply has to make good trades. I saw my master's reaction to that. We all took our leave with awful, echoing politeness, and I made sure to press Diedrich's hand with particular firmness as we parted. I think we understood each other, valet to valet. "You seem discomfited, Passepartout," my master remarked, with the barest hint of a smile. "I did not like that Diedrich," I said. He had a thieving, unctuous look about him. I would not be surprised if he were a fraudster and duping that poor Monsieur Montgomery into keeping him as a valet. I crossed my arms. What sort of name is Diedrich, anyway? "Passepartout," Monsieur Fogg said with a small sigh in his voice, "you are a man of remarkable depths." And not in a good way. Deterioration of the relationship, and just when we were starting to get on well. Sorry, but if we're going to fail, you know what I mean? Right, hotel, last night's sleep. We've got to pray to the gods that we can get to London in 1 day. 1 day, I say. Lisbon to London on day 80. It would be a minor miracle. Night fell. As we lay down to sleep, Monsieur Fogg murmured, "Today is day 80, Passepartout. We have failed. Do not lose heart," I advised him. "Indeed not," he agreed. "We must still return home, and as fast as possible. We haven't lost. Day 80. Depart. We can get there in one day, surely. Lisbon to London. Arrives today. We can do it. Go. One case. Extra space. Go. One day. Please, God, please. Let us succeed. Day 80 is the deadline, not day 79. We left Lisbon aboard the Madre de Deux, an old Torres Quevedo airship with a belly full of Algarve oranges and early season cherries. But even such juiciness could not turn my eyes from the prize. Not even a buxom wench, not even a glass of Merlot. No, we're so close to home, I was focused for a change. Barring storms, side winds, pirates, fires, explosions, escaped criminals, or any other such, London was now finally within our reach. And we made idle chit-chat. No, we just waited impatiently, wrapping our fingers together, pacing up and down, looking out for the coastline of the great UK. Adventure Fogg expected back shortly. Just how shortly? Day 80. We're still on day 80. Monsieur Fogg looked out of the observation deck windows with perfect calm, as though we were not with every passing moment. Drawing closer and closer to London, my nerves were in shreds, and I was nearly chewing the rails with anticipation. I spent the remaining time embarking on the writing of this account, though I found already the details of our early adventures had grown vague and indistinct. We tethered at the airship dock in Hyde Park, and felt, for the first time in 80 days, the feel of English soil under our shoes. At long last, we had returned to London, and in time to win the wager. Yes! At 4 p.m, day 80. Now, I'm a bit sceptical here. Is it possible to fail this game? Or did the game tailor the times of the journeys to get us here at this precise moment? Because this seems like too much of a coincidence that we've arrived dead on day 80 at 4 p.m. Now, if it is a chance that that's happened, then good grief, I could not have timed it any better. But I'm sceptical here that maybe the game has just done this for this very reason, to make it so tense. Let me know in the comments. I think the game's orchestrated this to happen somehow. Anyway, who cares? We're here. We're in London. Because, the thing that makes me suspicious is the journey from the gyrocopter to Lisbon took a day. And that's quite a long journey for a day. I don't know. Anyway, onwards. We return. We're at London. Day 80, 4 p.m. We've arrived in one piece with stories to tell. Whoever will listen to us. I seized my master by the collar and threw him into one of the steam carriages idling on the banks of the Serpentine in Hyde Park. "To the Reform Club!" I shouted. Throwing £50 at the driver as inducement to speed. We got £2,000. Money to burn. "And you'll have another 50 when we arrive. Now drive!" The streets of London seemed comforting and familiar as they flashed past my well-travelled eyes. The carriages were mostly horse-drawn, and gas lamps rather than electricity lit our way as we raced down Pall Mall. The carriage barely shuddered to a steam-hissing stop before I dragged my master from his seat and up the steps to the imposing doors of the Reform Club. I released him only when we reached the great saloon, where my master's erstwhile friends stood from their chairs gaping in an attitude of great shock. Monsieur Fogg only straightened a little and said in his calm voice, "Gentlemen, here I am." The room erupted into cheers. Where had the crowd come from? Had they followed us inside from the street? I had scarcely noted them. I realized, as though a spell had suddenly broken, that we had succeeded, and my master had won £20,000. With the 4,000 we began with and our remaining funds, it was a profit of over 18,000. Hardly a meagre sum. My heart began to beat again, and I saw for the first time the grand interiors of the Reform Club, which had no doubt remained untouched since its founding some 30-odd years ago. The most advanced piece of technology within was a gilded clock set upon the mantelpiece. A few club members were muttering about the impropriety of alighting in front of the club from a steam carriage. One of the club butlers was just taking from our case the sketch of Fogg, made by the indomitable Madame Esteban Carlos, and I almost sold the damn thing. "To go above the mantelpiece, I think," he murmured. "A most fine souvenir of your adventures, Monsieur Fogg, sir." It looked quite fine there, and I smiled with pride. I pushed my way through to Monsieur Fogg, who had nearly been swallowed by congratulatory crowds. "You have won the bet, monsieur," I told him, as though saying it aloud once more would make it more real, and then repeated the sentiment again, for good measure. "Any gentleman would be fortunate to call you his valet," Monsieur Fogg said. And I knew that from him there could be no higher praise. "Mr. Fogg! Mr. Fogg!" one of the journalists in the crowd cried, interrupting our conversation. "What next for the great adventurer Phileas Fogg and his loyal valet Passepartout?" My master looked at me. I returned the glance. "I have always wondered what is at the centre of the earth." I looked around at the faces of the assembled crowd and quirked an eyebrow. "Anyone care to make a wager?" Monsieur Fogg refrained from rolling his eyes. "I believe," he said with great deliberation, "that tonight I will have supper and go to bed. Come, Passepartout, it grows late." "Yes, Monsieur Fogg," I said, and followed. Ho-ho! Our journey around the world is complete! Marvellous! As I said, I'm still sceptical. Like it was planned for this to happen somehow, some way. I don't know. I may have to watch an LP of somebody else playing this game and see if they arrive at exactly this moment in time. But anyway, by hook or by crook, I have thoroughly enjoyed this game. It really has been exactly what I thought it would be. And as I said at the very first part, that is a reminder to the days when I was in primary school, about 5 years old, going back to 1988 now, some time ago, probably before some of you were even born. And I used to read these adventure books. We had to make choices, and the choices would have an impact on what happened, and it just leads on to other things, and it was absolutely great. Really well written scenarios, really good stuff. Yeah. So what happens from here? We get a news flash. Phileas Fogg returns in the nick of time. Journey completed in 80 days, despite kidnap by Madras nuns, sinking airship off the coast of Singapore, and nights of rough sleeping. Can't beat a night on the streets to bring you to a sense of reality. We visited 27 out of 169 cities, travelled 32,000 miles, liked airships, finished our balance with 18 grand, 11,000 miles by sea, 2,000 by land, 20 by air, and spent £21,000. We were well heeled, passionate, strong, and we got on relatively well with Monsieur Fogg. Wow. And the beauty of this game is how many other cities... We've not even touched a quarter of the cities in this game. The amount of routes that you can go, not endless, but there are numerous. I never got to America. I never really got to explore the Caribbean properly. Africa, didn't touch it. The Trans-Siberian Express, I mean, bloody hellfire, the replayability is absolutely out there, and I am off camera going to play another couple of playthroughs at some point. Game is relatively cheap, so if you've liked what you've seen, I mean, I'd urge you to just go and give it a try. But anyway, that is it for Let's Play 80 Days. An LP with a slight difference, not usually the type of game I would usually LP, but I wanted to do something shorter, something a little bit different, and I'd read good things about this, and I've enjoyed myself, so I hope you've enjoyed watching. So join me next time, next week sometime, when we will be starting a new LP or two, so find out what that will be in due course. But from me, Passport 2 and Mr. Fogg, it's goodbye. He's earned a rest.